And
Hey, it's me, and I'm JB, the Antique Autistic, and today what I want to talk to you about, well, first I want to show you we're making these. I have been painting all day, guys. I'm going to take my shower after this. But anyway, I've been making these things for the sensory room, which I'm going to show you on the next video. I'm going to show you some autistifying of houses, especially if you're going to have a homestead. Now, I've been watching a lot of homesteading videos, and there seems to be a lot of at-home childbirths. And so I wanted to tell you about my experience participating in kind of an at-home childbirth for a baby that had two autistic parents. And we made it an autistic childbirth. And I'm just really curious if it's very different than from, a regular homestead at-home childbirth. Now, a little backstory. I had someone in my life who had always promised me that I would be there when her baby was born, and I really thought I was going to be. And she'd been getting very angry at me, and I couldn't understand why. I thought it was just because she was having a hard time in life, and who could she trust but me? And then when she went to labor, I was in the hospital 1.5 days before I was told, not by her, but by her messenger, that I was not wanted there. And so I was really upset. And I talked about it a lot. I started spending a lot of time at a homeless shelter. I wasn't homeless. I was helping them, making sure their kids had birthdays and all sorts of things, and clothes, and that they had Christmas. But to tell the truth, I wasn't, with my daughter, I wasn't looking for someone to take her place, but maybe someone to take her space. Kept bringing homeless people home. But anyway, that has nothing to do with it. They all heard my story and about how devastated I was by a number of things, including that with the childbirth. And someone who knew someone said, "Vicky, how would you like to help participate in an illegal autistic birth?" And I said, "Illegal?" And they said, "Yeah." And I said, "Why?" And they said, "It's not going to be in a hospital." And I said, "A lot of people legally have babies at home, not in a hospital." And I was told, "Yeah, but you immediately got to take the baby down and get the baby, I don't know, licensed or registered," whatever she said. And we don't want it done that way. We want the babies first. We want the baby to come into this world in a special way, because it's almost surely going to be an autistic child. And it is believed that most, if not all, autistic people have PTSD or CPTSD. And there are some who even believe it started at childbirth, because it was such a traumatic experience. Because we have all these sensory issues that are so huge that neurological people can't understand. I'm kind of an advocate of the intense world theory, where some of us go into ourselves or whatever, because the whole world is just so intense, and we experience it so hugely. So this autistic birth was done in a home where there was no, it wasn't the person's home who lived there. It was in a home right near the hospital. There was a licensed midwife there who had autistic family members. And the place was kept hot. We weren't allowed to have anything with deodorant on it. We weren't allowed, there was some food to eat there. We weren't allowed to eat anything that was highly scented or anything. We were all dripping sweat because the mother's average body temperature was 98.2, and so they kept it at 98.2. Lights were very, very dimmed, almost dark, and I was able to be there and be part of that, and it was really awesome. And I almost passed out a couple times, but I think so did a couple other people, because it was winter, keeping it that hot in winter. And I know shortly after the baby was born, you know, we left. And it was the mother and the baby. Food was brought in. The grandparents, who were not going to be able to be there for the birth anyway, since they knew they were not going to be there for the birth, since they knew that if they came for the birth, they would not be able to be there for a couple weeks after that. So they elected to come a couple, 2 or 3 weeks after the baby was born, because it was just the mom and the dad, mostly the mom. Very quiet, very subdued atmosphere, no lights, very quiet. Like I said, I know the mother did eat some peanut butter to try to help avoid peanut allergies. And then I really didn't hear about it. I know they stayed in there a couple weeks. I know that. Then they slowly brought the baby into the world, and they started introducing the baby in autistic ways to the world. And so I didn't even think about it until about, well, I had thought about it, but not a lot, until about 2 years ago, when I ran into someone and said, "Oh, I remember you from when the baby was born." And I was like, "What?" And she said, "Yeah, I was there," and she had kept in touch with the people. And the baby, who incidentally was a girl, was at the time 5 years old, and she had been reading fluently since 3, which is a very autistic-y thing to do. Super into numbers, which is a super autistic-y thing to do. Could only wear certain fabrics, which is a very autistic thing to do. Was kind of a picky eater, which is a pretty autistic thing to do. But she also, even though she was only 5, she was also kind of the leader of her group, her autistic group she hung out with, but also her, well, not really so much, because there's not really so much leaders in autistic groups, but she had her group of non-autistic friends. And her non-autistic friends, she was pretty much the leader of. And guess what? That is not at all an autistic-y thing. We are like born, we are not leaders. And I was going to say born not leaders, but maybe that's not true. Maybe we all get put into the omegas omega position, but because this little girl, she's not an omega, and she is autistic. She, you know, she happy flaps, and when she happy flaps, I heard that the non-autistic kids think it's cool because she's cool. And so I was just, I wanted to know if other autistic, if other like homestead people, if the child home births are similar to that. And also another thing I wanted to mention is that with autistic people, I don't like the term, but I once heard the term we're like the canaries in the mine, because things that we are sensitive to, things that we have difficulties with because of our sensory issues, are also difficult for non-autistic people, but that a lot of times they're not even aware of it. They're just have subpar performance, whatever, and not even aware of it. And so what is good for an autistic child is would also autistic person would also be good for a non-autistic person. So I hope there's more autistic childbirths, and I hope there's more non-autistics having autistic childbirths. Oh, and it was a month later before they finally went in and did the registering and stuff, and they did not get into trouble. Okay, anyway, tomorrow I'm going to show you some of the stuff on our little autistic homestead, our house actually, some of the befores and afters, and how what we're doing is making it how it is, an autistic house. Okay, so I love most of you. For all you haters, we're here, we're weird, and get used to it.